Mahomes is still the standard. He is still an MVP caliber quarterback. You cannot change my mind. And I don't think you could, even if you tried. Even if you tried to lay out the evidence, I just don't believe it. I still think he's at an MVP level. Despite having very little to work with on offense these past few years, Mahomes has been the guy to turn to in the playoffs when times get tough. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, they've put up better numbers than Mahomes. But when it's January and you need a 2-minute drive to win the game and advance to the Super Bowl or win a championship, I'm choosing one quarterback and one quarterback only, and that's Patrick Mahomes. I am picking Mahomes. It's as simple as that. There is nobody that compares to the success of Mahomes over the past 7 or 8 years in the NFL today. He's got a 17-4 playoff record over the past 8 years in the NFL. He's made like 7 or 8 straight AFC conference championships. It's unreal. So the fact that we think he's fallen off because he had one down year or a few quote-unquote down years because historically he's been so good is ridiculous. Now, I won't lie to you. There has absolutely been a dip in production. Those are the numbers. Numbers don't lie. And it started in 2023 and it carried into 2024 last year when he had career lows, below 4,000 yards and only 26 passing touchdowns. With that being said, there's a good reason why Mahomes has struggled statistically these past few years. At least in my opinion, there's a primary reason why. And I can attribute it to the deep ball. The deep ball has vanished for Mahomes since 2023. Because Mahomes hasn't had a primary pass catcher besides Kelsey. Because Mahomes hasn't had a deep threat besides Kelsey. Now, you can attribute some of the fall off in production for Mahomes to Kelsey and his fall off in dominance, because that's just going to happen. That's with age. Kelsey's nearing the end of his career. But you cannot tell me Mahomes himself as a player is falling off in year 9. I just don't see it happening. I still think he's in his prime. So let's look at the stats. 2023, Rashee Rice was only established after week 11. So Mahomes played the first half of the season with Juju, or whoever was the starting receiver at that point. 2024, no Rashee Rice, no Hollywood Brown, and a late blooming star in Xavier Worthy. So sure, he had Travis Kelsey and he had a few weapons, but there really wasn't anyone that Mahomes could count on to hit consistently on a deep ball, on deeper patterns. And then you pull up the stats. 2024, Mahomes was 19th in passes for more than 20 yards and 22nd in passes for more than 40 yards. 2023, 10th in passes over 20 yards, 13th in passes over 40 yards. 2022, he was first in passes above 20 yards and first in passes above 40 yards, and that's without Tyreek Hill, and he made the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl his first year without Tyreek. So all I'm saying, give Mahomes a chance. Give Mahomes a season with familiar faces, and he's back in the MVP race. And this year, it'll probably be the same, because Rashee Rice is probably getting suspended. We don't know the health of Hollywood Brown. And Xavier Worthy hopefully plays a full season. But that's a lot of what ifs, obviously. He hasn't had a consistent receiving group, and that's what's burned him. Once he rediscovers the deep ball, once he gets a guy he can trust for a full season, it's game over. And at the end of the day, let me make 2 final concluding points before we move on. A, the Chiefs are not asking Mahomes to do as much as they needed him to do in his first few seasons in the NFL. That's just a fact. The defense is just that much better, and he doesn't need to do nearly as much as he once did. But secondly, and this is really what it boils down to, Mahomes is the measuring stick for every other quarterback in the NFL. When Lamar has an MVP season, when Joe Burrow gets MVP honors, when Josh Allen had his MVP season, nobody used them as the consensus measuring stick for every quarterback in the NFL. Because that's Mahomes. And to me, that proves he is still the greatest in the league right now. Obviously, we can go into the GOAT debate, whatever. We're not doing that. But I'm saying right now, he's still at the top of the game. I'd still take Mahomes at number one as the best quarterback in the NFL until proven otherwise.